Boo. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Live, 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 live. Here we are. Here we are. Hello there. Welcome back once again to Disney Deep Dive, where each week we dive into the history, stories, and details of the Disney parks. I am Stefan. Obviously, my wife Leah is not here tonight. It is just me, and I'm doing it solo. So, as is tradition when we are going solo, we do Disney trivia. Trivia from the vault. Or, as we sometimes call it, Mickey Pasta. Let me make sure I'm doing all of this right. I don't usually do this part. Leah does this part. So, it's new to me. But here I am. All right. Not a lot of news. Nothing to really catch you guys up on. Let's see. Anything new going on with us? Not really. Leah's off doing a fun evening function, and I'm here at home. And I don't even know. Do I have this going right? I don't know if I have this going right. Am I in the right chat? Ruh-roh. Hold on. Hold on. Is it just because no one's watching? That's very possible. Yeah, I think it's just because there's no one on yet. Okay, so we're all good. We're good. We'll be better in a second. Hold on here. Doobie-doobie-doo. There we go. All right, enough of me flim-flamming on. Let's go into some Disney trivia from the vault. Where to begin? I don't know what Leah did last time because I don't actually rewatch her episodes. So when she did this, I have no idea what she talked about. I think we've pretty much exhausted Disneyland and Disney World. So why don't we jump into some of the other stuff on here. We have animated features. Oh boy, there goes the book. Animated features. And oh goodness, there's a table of contents. There we go. Animated shorts. There we go. Disneyland, which we've exhausted. Live action films, publications, television, Walt Disney World, and Walt Disney. You know what? Publication sounds like it's boring, but I bet there are some hidden gems in there. So let's jump on over to page 157 and see what we can find. 157. 157. That's too far. That's too far back. There we go. Publications. Oh, look at that. It's all sorts of book covers. All right. Diving in. Okay, and if you don't know the format of this, it's people ask questions, and then Walt Disney former historian, R.I.P. Dave Smith, answers the questions in great detail. So, let's just start here. I have several books published by Disney Press. When did the Disney Press imprint begin publishing books? Robert Wilmington, North Carolina. Disney Press published its first title, 101 Dalmatians, a counting book, on May 31st, 1991. Before that, Disney licensed other publishers, such as Random House, Golden Press, and Grolier, to print their books. I'm pretty sure we had 101 Dalmatians, a counting book, when my brother and I, when we were kids. We had like a couple of larger, like Disney-based books, and one of them was 101 Dalmatians. I only remember because as a kid, I did not really like that movie. I don't know what I didn't like about it. It just seemed scary or something. So I've watched it since though, and it's good. So you guys can go ahead and take that with a grain of salt. Does Disney still publish the magazine Vacation Land? If it doesn't, when was the last issue? Kathy, El Cajon, California. Vacation Land was a marketing magazine, of course it was, that was published in both Disneyland 1957 to 1984 and Walt Disney World 1971 to 1977 editions. It was distributed free in local hotels and motels, but is no longer being published for quite a while. I wonder if that's like a... What would they have in those? If you guys have ever read those, let me know. And let me know what was inside of them, because I guess it was probably just marketing and advertising. Let's see. It was distributed free in local hotels and motels. Yeah, so it went to like local hotels, and it's probably just like, hey, come to the parks. We have this, 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 and this, and you guys will love it. It'll be a lot of fun. Good idea, actually. I guess when you get to a certain size, it really doesn't make any sense, because I don't know anyone traveling to Orlando that isn't going to Disney. I mean, I guess maybe there's vacation there, but they don't really need to advertise to people to be like, hey, don't forget that we're here. Oh, let's see. Let's find a good one. What's a good one? One of my all-time favorite little golden books is Mickey Mouse Goes Christmas Shopping. Mine has a copyright of 1953. Wow! I wonder if that's the original copyright or if it was a reprint. And a price of 29 cents. Probably original. Something about the artwork in this book seems different from most Disney art, but I just can't put my finger on what it is. Can you tell me if this story was ever a short film or was it produced only in book form? Tina from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The illustrations in that little golden book were done by Bob Moore and Ex Atencio. Oh, no kidding. Although both worked for Disney, they were hired as freelance artists by Golden Press to illustrate the book. That is interesting. So they worked for Disney. Disney outsourced the publication of the book to a different company, and that company hired Disney employees as freelancers to illustrate the book. Huh. It is not based on any cartoon. Moore was more of a marketing publicity artist. Movie posters, Christmas cards, etc. Atencio is known for some stop motion animation in the 1950s and for his later work as an Imagineer, as we discussed thoroughly in our Pirates of the Caribbean episode. Go ahead and check that out. Interesting. So those guys both illustrated this book in 1953. I wonder how often that happened. That seems funny, that they would outsource the publication of a book to another company, and that company would then outsource their artist to illustrate the book. And I wonder who wrote it. I don't know. It doesn't say. Oh, well, moving on. Let's see what else we got here. I have a copy of an old book about the Haunted Mansion called Magic from the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. Is this a collectible item? Justin, Deep Springs, California. Magic from the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland was published in 1970 and sold only at Disneyland. It is one of the few publications, other than guidebooks, created for exclusive sale at the park. It is not especially valuable, but is becoming hard to find. That would be cool. I would like to read that, actually. I wonder what it is. I wish this had more details about what was like in these books and what they were all about. Magic in the Haunted Mansion. You know what? Let's take a little side break and look up on the internets what that is all about. Magic in the Haunted Mansion book. Haunted. I spelled haunted. Oh, interesting. Oh, I've seen this cover. Okay, yeah, so I've seen this cover before. It is on Amazon. Ooh, how about that? Magic from the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. Oh, no, it's not. Currently unavailable. Interesting. Let's see if we can find some pages. Let's go to images. Google Images. Cover. Oh, here's a page. It's got Madame Leota's face. Effect have a regular deck. Oh, maybe not. No, I don't think that is a page from that. Huh. Well, I have no idea what was in this book. Or maybe that is a page. It's called Magic from the Haunted Mansion. This is a page about magic tricks, and it looks like it shares similar artwork to the cover. So maybe that's what it was. Like a book of magic tricks. Nope, can't find that page. Okay, well, it's a mystery. We'll never solve it. Let's just move on. I recently obtained a Disney magazine that appears to be several decades old. It was issued in October and was free with a purchase of Mr. Clean or Kame? Is that a cleaning product? I don't know. I don't buy a lot of cleaning products. The issue contains articles on 101 Dalmatians, Debbie Reynolds, and Cinderella's Brave Mice. I would love to know what year it was printed. Jennifer Lyons, Oregon. About 20 issues of this particular Disney magazine were published from May 1975 to April 1977. It has no direct relation to the later Disney magazine from the 1990s and 2000s. The magazine was produced by Disney in conjunction with Procter & Gamble. Each month a new issue appeared in participating grocery stores, and it was free with the purchase of the designated product for that month, such as Downy, Kame, and Spick and Span. Your particular issue is from 1976. Oh, he even nailed the issue. That's nice. Yeah, Disney magazine. I had a subscription to Disney magazine when I was a kid. I think it was just called, or maybe it was called like Disney Adventure magazine or something Disney magazine. But it was it was like the size of a TV guide, like old TV guides. It was like this big, and it had like comics and some puzzles and some articles in it. And I mostly just read the comics in it and looked at the pictures. But I remember liking it. It was fun. I had a whole like box full of them. I'm sure they got thrown away. But I remember having the one that had the Star Trek The Next Generation cast on it, but it had like Disney characters interspersed. What other ones? Quite a few, actually. I know I had a Jurassic Park one for sure, because I read that one to death, because I love Jurassic Park. But yeah, that was a fun magazine. I like that one. What year did Scrooge McDuck first appear in a Disney comic, and what was its title? Ryan, West Hills, California. Uncle Scrooge first appeared in a comic story in a Donald Duck comic called Christmas on Bear Mountain in December 1947. That was a while ago. There's an awesome comic book series. Maybe it's just like a one big book compilation, but it's the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. And I want to get that because it's super, super cool. Basically, what the writer, artist, like creator did is they took because in all of the old, like, they're not DuckTales, but DuckTales comics that had Scrooge in them. Anytime he mentioned like an old adventure or like something in passing that was like, oh, I did this back then. They went through, they collected all of those, and then they fleshed those stories out and put them in this book. So it's just like decades worth of history and stories, like kind of like made real in this one, anthology story. I have never read it, but I've heard it's super awesome, and I really want to read it because I love DuckTales. Even like the new DuckTales, which I just got all caught up on Disney Plus with our kids, that show's super good. And it made me want to read that even more. So I need to pick that up at some point because it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, 1947, Scrooge McDuck first showed up. Interesting. Oh, let's see. What else is in here? Oh, I recently came across the original artwork for a Sunday newspaper comic strip from March 3rd, 1983, or so it is noted on the art itself, Walt Disney's Treasury of Classic Tales, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It is beautifully illustrated and bears the Disney copyright on the art, but neither the artist nor the inker are credited. Can you tell me who the artist was? Matt from Burbank, California. That comic strip was run in newspapers to tie in with a 1983 reissue of the film. It was written by Carl Thalberg and drawn by Richard Sparky Moore. Interesting. Oh, so one guy drew and inked the whole thing. Probably colored it too. Maybe not, though. Oh, let's see. When I was a young boy in the 1950s, Disney comic books were among my favorites. There was a particular one which was my all-time favorite, in which Mickey Mouse was a detective, and if I recall correctly, there were clues with a round black spot on them. What can you tell me about this? Story name, year published, anything. Bob from Claremont, Florida. Mickey Mouse Outwits the Phantom Blot was actually the first Mickey Mouse comic book published in 1941. It is very rare. A recent price guide listed it at $13,000 in very fine condition. Huh. There was later, in the 1960s, a series called The New Adventures of the Phantom Blot. So let's see. This was 1941. So this guy probably had the one that's worth $13,000. I bet he's very sad that he didn't save it, or that his mom threw it out, which is probably the more likely scenario because that's what happened back in the day. Oh, let's see. Let's jump to another category, shall we? Let's go to television. 169. Where are you at? Oh, we were almost there. Look at that. We almost made it there. Television. Oh, let's see. I don't know any of the stuff they're talking about in these questions. Oh, let's see. I would really like to see the old two-part Moochie films. Moochie. That were shown long ago on Walt Disney Presents. What were their exact titles? Are they available on video? Paul from Batavia, New York. I have family in Batavia, New York. Moochie of the Little League aired on October 2nd and 9th in 1959. It also had a 16mm release for rental to schools and community organizations as Little League Moochie. Moochie of Pop Warner Football aired on November 20th and 27th in 1960. Neither film has ever been released on videocassette or DVD. Who is Moochie? That's my question. Okay, let's find out who Moochie is. Because there is not enough information there for me to know. Oh, it's a restaurant apparently. Moochie. Oh, it's a kid. So that is Moochie. And it's not really focusing very well. So it's a kid next to Walt Disney wearing a turtleneck. That's a turtleneck. That says Moochie on it. Fun. Moochie's exuberant excitement for Zorro, whilst Mr. Disney has to claim the original Mouseketeers. Interesting. Okay, well, it's a kid. A kid who wore his name on his own sweatshirt. Turtleneck. His own turtleneck. I have a vague memory of a Disney film I saw as a child on Disney Channel about the young Harry Houdini. Does this ring a bell? Alfonso from Fullerton, California. Disney made a 2-hour television show that aired in March of 1987 called Young Harry Houdini. It starred Will Wheaton as the young magician and escape artist who runs away from home to join a traveling carnival. Interesting. There were lots of interesting shows on Disney back in the day. I remember one. I don't think it was a Disney movie, but it was on the Disney Channel. I remember when I was a kid. I was sick because I had a fever, and the movie felt like a fever dream, but it's real, and it's called like The Legend of Gator Face or something like that. It's got like a gator man beast in it. I don't know anything else about it other than a walking man alligator saves a boy in the end. But I was sick when I watched it, and it felt like a nightmare. There's an 80s Disney movie called Sultan and the Rock Star that I've been wondering about. Was it made for TV? Can you tell me any other trivia about this film? Tammy from Bangor, Maryland? Maryland, yes. Sultan and the Rock Star was made for Disney's Wonderful World, airing first in April of 1980. Besides Sultan, a large Bengal tiger, the film starred a young Timothy Hutton. Don't know who that is. During production, Hutton spent 2 weeks at Disney's Golden Oak Ranch just learning to act around Sultan, which one would. For the first few days, he was reportedly scared out of his wits. Yeah, I bet, because you're acting around a tiger. And it's the 80s, so it's not like they really have the safety measures put in place to keep you safe back then. It was more of a just go and do it. In the Disney trivia board games, Goslin is said to be Drake's, Darkwing Duck's, niece, but the television show and comics called her his adopted daughter. Did he adopt his niece, or are the games wrong? Stephanie from Long Beach, California. According to the television show's producers, Tad Stones, Goslin is Drake's adopted daughter. So if a game says she is his niece, it is incorrect. Yeah, I remember her being the adopted daughter also. She was like a runaway that he finds, like during the first episode of his adventures. Because every one of those shows had like, Tailspin was the same way. It had an initial episode that set up all the characters, and in both of them, they both meet these like runaway orphan children, and then they don't adopt them so much as they're like, just live with me and we'll hang out and have adventures, and then they have adventures. And that's it. And then they end up becoming their children somehow. And then like half a season in, you just kind of accept that they're their kids, and the dynamic is there, I guess, so it works. What other show was like that? Tailspin was like that. I guess DuckTales was sort of like that. I mean, they always called him Uncle Scrooge, but I mean, he's basically their dad, sort of. Because in the original, Donald never showed up. I mean, other than maybe like the first 4 episodes. What other show was like that? Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales. I guess those are the main ones. Yeah, we'll go with that. I have a picture of Mickey holding onto a rocket from a Disney Days tear-off calendar. I don't remember when it appeared, but I'd guess 97 or 98. Do you know anything about this image? Debbie from Huntington Beach, California. The illustration was created for an invitation to a Disney Channel launch party in 1983. Short but sweet. Good. Answered the question. Let's see. The Wuzzles. I don't know anything about the Wuzzles. Whiz Kids. Horse Masters. What's something in here that I know something about? Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Oh man, a lot of these are from the 70s, and the 60s, and the 50s. Didn't Disney put out a short called They Call the Wind Mariah? While playing the tune, it showed a young couple leaving San Francisco for Reno. On the way, they encountered a blizzard. In Reno? And I think they were driven off the road. Was this Disney, or was it put out by someone else? David from Olala, Washington. You were close on the title. Disney did a TV show called A Storm Called Maria in 1959. It was based on George R. Stewart's famous book Storm, and covered the birth and development of a major storm in the Sierra Nevada mountains and how it put people in danger. Disney also did a television show based on another Stewart book, Fire, called A Fire Called Jeremiah. It covered the similar theme of the birth and development of a large forest fire. All right. Well, that happened. Let's see. Let's do 2 more. How about that? I recently found 2 Jiminy Cricket cells that were purchased between 1956 and 1959 at Disneyland. How can I tell which film they were from? Robert of Lakewood Ranch, Florida. It's difficult to identify Jiminy Cricket cells because he appeared in so many films. If the cells were purchased at Disneyland in the 1950s, it's most likely they would have been from one of Jiminy's many educational cartoons for the Mickey Mouse Club, You and Your 5 Senses, I'm No Fool with Fire, etc., which were produced during that era. That's interesting because I only know Jiminy Cricket specifically from Pinocchio, so those were from the 50s, so why would I know those? That makes sense, I guess. I would like to own some animation cells. I always thought it would be cool, like when I was a kid. I thought having like original pieces of art like that would be super fun. I've got a lot of posters and stuff and like prints and things I've bought over the years that are just like sitting in a bin somewhere. I need to actually hang them up. But I need frames. Where do I get frames? The internet, I guess. All right, let's do one more because my throat's scratchy. Oh, here we go. Who is the actor who did the voice of Scrooge McDuck on DuckTales? P.S. I guess those are his initials. Gainesvort, New York? Gansevoort? Gainesvort? Something Vort. New York. The voice of Uncle Scrooge was provided by actor Alan Young, best known for playing the role of Wilbur on the classic Mr. Ed TV series. Young first did the Scrooge voice in Mickey's Christmas Carol in 1983, and on a record album made 11 years before the cartoon. And in the most recent series, it is Doctor Who. Oh my goodness, why can't I remember his name now? Doctor Who, and he was in Harry Potter. Oh, Tennant? Is it Tennant? Hold on. We'll find this out. DuckTales. Oh, where's the cast? Yep, David Tennant. David Tennant did the voice of Scrooge, or is doing the voice of Scrooge McDuck, and he does a great job. I think it's fantastic. And he was also in the first season of Jessica Jones, which, is that stuff still on Netflix? I guess it is. Yeah, Punisher is still on there. I still get Daredevil. They keep telling me to watch the same things over and over again. So they keep telling me to watch Daredevil and a few other shows that I watched like when they first came out. But I guess I haven't seen it in like a few years now. So I should rewatch those before they take them away forever. Which they might. I don't know. With Disney Plus around, they might eliminate those. And then I would never see them. So you got to get on that stuff while you can. Anywho, that is it for trivia for today. Thank you for watching. I'd like to say thank you to Dean and the Live Place for hosting us and directing people to us and to me this evening in particular. If you have any suggestions for any future shows, rides, attractions, etc., that you guys would like to have more information about, feel free to hit us up on the Instagram. I am at Small World Shirts Co. and Leah is at LeahTackles. Or you could just comment in the comments below and let us know down there. And we will heed those not with caution. We'll take them to heart and put them on the list. Because then we won't have to come up with anything. But go watch some of our other shows. Our other, Haunted Mansion's really good. And so actually are all of the other ones. So just pick some, binge them, watch them. They're fun. And check us out next week because we'll be back next week with another show. Not trivia, an actual history of something. And we'll see you then. So thanks for watching and we'll see you later. Bye.